Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. I am doing pretty good, but I'm having some headache. That's why I have my glasses on. Sorry about that. So I wanted to just touch base and tell and give an idea to people who are wondering how divorce process goes in the US. I just wanted to give you a quick idea of how it goes. The process is very long, so don't get I don't know, don't believe people who say it's fast or it's quick or anything like that. It's very, very long. That's where I'm gonna start. Divorce process is very long in the US, and mine, according to my lawyer, I was told that mine went so fast that he hasn't seen divorce process going that fast. But mine took, so first, you if you're the one who wants to get out, you go to the courthouse. You can go online and print papers depending on what state you're in, which state you're in. You print papers and then you sign them and drop them at the courthouse. But if you want, you can have a lawyer. So you hire a lawyer who will be filing that for you. So you first have a consultation with that lawyer. You sit down, you tell him the issues. He will ask you questions and how your marriage started, how it's going, what are the issues and things like that. So you just explain all your life. You really have to be honest and say everything. That way they know exactly how to defend you. You do that consultation, and after the consultation, he will file the divorce papers for you by entering it to your state's courthouse or your county. And after they do that, then the judge or the courthouse will send them a day or a date that you will meet in court so that the court can hear both sides, and that's called hearing. And for me, I had multiple hearings. I think, yeah, I had a few hearings, and then after that there is like a day where you both have to stand, and both lawyers cross-examine you. So one lawyer asks you questions to make you look bad, and the other lawyer will ask the other one questions to make them look bad, basically. And then but for me, my lawyer didn't really want to focus on the negative. It was like, okay, let's leave those things. And even when I'll be like, let's talk about this, we have to mention this, I want this to be taken care of, he'll be like, no, let's not go there. But if they go there, then we'll go there. But anyway, so you do that. So consultation, file, hearing, and then the cross-examination thing. I don't remember how it's called. So you go up there, because all these other times, the two lawyers are the ones talking. But then there will be that one time that you have to go on the stand and then do that. And then the fifth thing will be the decree. So the judge will then sign everything and say, okay, this person gets $10, this person gets $5, but with the car. And then they decide according to what they've heard. All right, guys, I got a call. So anyway, I'm in the car and I have to go somewhere really quick, and it's to see my lawyer, actually. Anyway, yes, so the last step will be that decree, right? So consultation, hearing, the lawyer drops the papers, and then hearings, and then you have to retain the lawyer if you want to keep them, and then they ask you to pay that retainer, and it's usually the biggest amount. But then later, it's like you put that down. It's like a large amount. They tell you like, okay, you have to give us 2,000, and you put the 2,000 down, and then when it gets close to finishing, because they will charge you per hour, so when that ends, then you start, before it ends, you start adding like a portion. You can add maybe 500 or 1,000 depending on how that firm works. And yeah, so you go to hearing, and then there will be the day that you both are on the stand, and then there will be the day that the judge then decides what's gonna happen, who keeps what, how many days one has the kids, or if, depending on how you explain your stuff, if one person will be fully responsible for the kids, and then one person only has a weekend or just a few hours, and they sign that in the decree. But before that, you also have to, I mean, for me, it's like you probably, I don't know, it depends. They will probably have you see like a conciliator, somebody who is not for or against any of you. He just helps you to get in the, like, it helps you find middle ground, what you want, what you agree on, and then go from there. So whatever you agree on, like, okay, we'll be switching the kids at a park or at the store or at school or at the house, who will be driving the kids to the person. Is it only one person who will be coming, dropping the kids and pick them up on their turn? And there are so many type of schedules out there. So there will be like, some people do, you have the kid this week, I have them next week. And some people will do, you have the kids Monday, Tuesday, I have them Wednesday, Thursday, and you have them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then you go back and you rotate. So and some people have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and other people have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and so on. So it depends on the states. America is like, it's like a continent. Every state is like a country, so every state has different rules. So it really depends on what you want to do. Oh gosh, my eyes hurt. But anyway, so that's basically the map. You introduce yourself to a lawyer, you retain them, so you keep them and you pay them money, and then you will meet in court with the other lawyer, and then they hear both parts and so on. And then the decree is the last thing that the judge will sign. It's called a decree, and everything you'll be doing will be what is said in the decree. If you go against what is in the decree, that means you are in contempt. You are going against the orders that were given to you. You are going against the law, and you could be punished for it in a whatever manner they find acceptable to punish you. So yeah, that's basically how it is, the divorce is processed. And yeah, and then you live that new life. The kids, if you have 50-50 custody, so both of you have the same how do you say, the same whatever, the same rules, the same access to the kids and all, and so on. So yeah, and it costs a lot. There's some lawyers that can do for free, which is pro bono. There's some that will charge you just a little bit, and depending on your income, but you have to search that in your state and see how it works. For example, for me, I didn't have money, so I just kept who could charge me less. What's wrong with that is You can pick someone who is not so good because you're not paying as much, so they don't really represent you as well. So it really depends on what you have available in your state, and ask around for resources and stuff like that. But in general, that's how it works. It's not really easy. Me growing up, I had this mindset of, the mother just, back home at least, most people would just, the mom would just take the kids, or the dad would just leave and stuff like that. But there's law and everywhere, and you follow that law, and you do that. So to people who didn't have any idea how it goes, that's how it goes, at least in my state. And yeah, so if you're thinking of going through that, think about that, sleep on that, pray about it, pray over yourself, pray over your children, pray over every single step that you're going to take, and make sure that the Holy Spirit guides you. Make sure that Jesus is with you. If you don't pray, I don't know, but I'm telling you, without prayer, I wouldn't do half or even a little bit of what I've done, because there are days that you just want to give up and say, whatever, I'm just gonna lose because this is harder for me than I thought, or this is stronger than me. But no, if you have kids, fight for however much time you can be with your kids, and really surrender to God, because you don't know what I went in my mind, what I took in court in my mind, and what I received were totally different. And I cried the day that the decree was signed. I cried like a baby. I was driving and bawling, just crying and crying and crying. And I had my aunt and my mom on the phone trying to calm me, trying to have me to, pull over and, breathe and things like that. So it's really hard. But then it was more hard for my kids than myself. But anyway, without surrendering, without leaving it to God, it's almost impossible to deal with. But again, good luck, and be strong. If you're a mom, if you're a dad, know that God got you, and He will keep you, it will guide you, and it will protect you, protect your children, and one day you get there. So it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Mostly if you don't have the funds, it takes a long time. Even if you have a house or things to save, to divide, it takes months. Mine took 10 months. So June, so it's like from June to January and stuff like that. No, June to April, so it would take time for you to get the part that you need, you are supposed to have, and so on. So it takes courage, it takes time, it takes really a lot of strength. So don't give up. Okay, peace.